Dreams don't come true like fairy tales or viral success stories. They hit you in the gut when you're at your lowest, staring at the ceiling at 3 a.m. wondering why your life feels like a scripted rerun of someone else's regrets. And that's the hook, the raw, unfiltered moment where you realize waiting for permission or perfection is the biggest lie you've ever told yourself, because real dreams demand you to shatter the illusion of safety and step into the chaos where growth hides. Not in comfort zones, but in the uncomfortable spaces between who you are and who you're meant to be. Let me pull you in deeper. Imagine this. Every single person who's ever built something extraordinary started exactly where you might be right now. Not on a mountaintop of confidence, but in the valley of doubt, with a voice in their head screaming, "You're not enough." But they didn't listen because they understood that dreams aren't polite invitations. They're urgent calls to action that echo louder the longer you ignore them. And if you're reading this, feeling that familiar ache in your chest, that's your signal, not to back down but to rise up, because the world doesn't hand out dreams on silver platters. It tests you first to see if you're worthy of holding on to them. People talk about dreams casually, like they're optional hobbies or weekend whims, but dreams are relentless hunters. They stalk you through your daily grind, whispering during boring meetings, nagging in traffic jams, haunting your quiet evenings when the distractions fade, and most folks push them away because chasing a dream means rewriting your entire story, flipping the script from survivor to creator, from follower to leader, and that shift terrifies the part of you that's grown, accustomed to mediocrity, to settling for good enough, when your soul craves extraordinary. But here's the truth bomb. Settling isn't peace. It's a slow poison that numbs your potential until one day you wake up wondering where the fire went. Think about it. How many times have you caught yourself daydreaming about a life that's bigger, bolder, freer? A career that lights you up instead of draining you. Relationships that fuel your growth instead of holding you back. A purpose that makes every morning feel like a fresh start rather than another obligation. And then reality crashes in with bills, responsibilities, opinions from people who never dared to dream themselves, telling you to be practical, to play it safe, to stick to the path that's predictable. But predictability is the enemy of progress. It's the cage that keeps eagles grounded, and deep down you know you're meant to fly, not crawl. The problem isn't that dreams are impossible. It's that we've been conditioned to doubt them from the start, schooled in systems that prioritize conformity over creativity, taught to value security over significance, and so we build walls around our aspirations, brick by brick, with excuses like, "I'm too old," "I'm too busy," "I don't have the resources." But those are just fear's favorite disguises, clever masks that make quitting sound smart, that make stagnation feel strategic. But strip them away and you'll see the naked truth. Fear isn't here to stop you. It's here to sharpen you, to forge you in the fire of uncertainty until you're unbreakable. Real journeys to dream fulfillment don't begin with fanfare or flawless plans. They start messy, with half-steps and hesitations, in the fog of confusion where every decision feels like a gamble. But that's the beauty of it. Clarity doesn't come from standing still. It emerges from movement, from taking that first awkward leap even when your knees are shaking, even when the path ahead is shrouded in shadows, because each step illuminates a little more, reveals a little further, and before you know it, what once seemed impossible starts to feel inevitable. In the beginning, it all feels like loss. You pour in hours without applause, sacrifice weekends without shortcuts, push through exhaustion without evidence of change, and this is the crucible where true character is tested, where motivation, the fickle spark that ignites but quickly burns out, gives way to discipline, the steady flame that endures through storms, because anyone can hustle when the adrenaline is high, but champions grind when the thrill is gone, when the world is silent, when progress is measured in millimeters rather than miles. Wishes are passive. They sit on shelves collecting dust, waiting for the stars to align or luck to knock on the door. But dreams are active predators. They require you to hunt them down, to build habits that outlast highs and lows, to commit to the mundane miracles of daily consistency. Waking up early, reading that book, making that call, learning that skill. Even when it feels pointless, even when doubt whispers, why bother? Because the compound effect of small actions is the secret weapon of every underdog story turned triumph. You don't need unwavering belief from day one. That's a myth peddled by highlight reels and edited biographies. No. You just need enough faith to act today, to choose progress over perfection, to embrace the suck of beginner's awkwardness, because expertise isn't born. It's earned through repetition, through failing forward, through turning I can't into I will. And as you stack those wins, no matter how tiny, your self-doubt starts to crack, your inner critic quiets, and a new voice emerges. One that says, keep going, you're onto something. Progress isn't always a fireworks show. More often, it's a quiet revolution happening beneath the surface, like roots digging deep before the tree towers tall. So while you feel stuck in the mud, you're actually anchoring yourself stronger. While you feel overlooked, you're honing skills that will shine when the spotlight finally finds you. While you feel defeated by detours, you're gathering wisdom that straight paths could never teach, and nothing, absolutely nothing, is wasted if you view it as fuel for the fire. Every exhausted evening counts. Every rejection email refines your resolve. Every no nudges you closer to the right yes. And in this grind, you'll discover resilience you didn't know you had. The kind that turns obstacles into opportunities, setbacks into setups for comebacks, because life doesn't break the unbreakable. It bends the flexible until they're forged like steel. Of course, not everyone will get it. People around you might misunderstand your drive, mock your methods, question your sanity. Friends who prefer the old you, family who worry about risks, strangers who project their own abandoned dreams onto your pursuit. But growth isn't a group activity. It's a solo expedition that sometimes requires shedding layers, leaving behind what no longer serves, because true evolution demands space, and loneliness isn't isolation. It's incubation, a sacred phase, where you reconnect with your core, rebuild your vision without outside noise. You'll outgrow comfort zones that once felt like home, habits that held you hostage, relationships that clipped your wings, and that's not selfishness. It's self-preservation, the natural progression of a soul expanding beyond its former limits, like a butterfly emerging from a cocoon. Painful, necessary, transformative, and in that process, you'll attract what aligns, repel what doesn't, creating a life that's authentically yours, not a borrowed blueprint. Setbacks will storm in like uninvited guests. Financial hiccups, health hurdles, creative blocks, moments where the dream crumbles under pressure and quitting seems like sweet relief. But those aren't dead ends. They're detours designed to deepen your dedication, to distinguish dabblers from doers, because success isn't a sprint decided by speed or smarts. It's a marathon won by those who endure, who persist when passion pauses, who rebuild after every breakdown. Talent gets you started, intelligence keeps you strategic, but consistency under chaos is what crosses the finish line. The quiet power of showing up day after day, refining your craft, adapting to adversity, because dreams don't bow to bursts of brilliance. They yield to years of yielded effort, rewarding the relentless over the sporadic, the patient over the impatient. Slow and steady isn't sexy, but it's sustainable. Rest isn't retreat, it's recharge. Doubt isn't disqualification. It's dialogue with your deeper self, and the only irreversible error is surrender, the choice that chains you to what-ifs and could-haves, echoes of regret that haunt louder than any failure ever could. But persist, and one day, maybe not tomorrow, maybe not next month, the tide turns subtly. A small victory sparks hope, a connection opens doors, a skill mastered unlocks levels, and your confidence swells not from external cheers but internal proof, from knowing you've weathered storms that would sink others, from seeing how far you've come when you glance back at the starting line. Your standards elevate. You no longer tolerate half measures or half hearts. You stop chasing validation like a drug, realizing your worth isn't voted on, it's validated by your victories. You cease over-explaining your path to skeptics, understanding that vision is visible only to those who dare to see. And in this shift, results ripple out. Opportunities multiply, networks expand, impacts amplify, all because you refused to fold. Suddenly, observers label you lucky, overnight success, ignoring the iceberg below the tip, the sleepless nights scripting strategies, the solitary hours honing habits, the hidden heartaches that hardened your hustle. But you know the score. You didn't chase this for accolades or envy. You pursued it for liberation, for the sovereignty of shaping your destiny, for the fulfillment of a life lived fully, fiercely, on your terms. Dreams don't manifest because fate favors the bold or the world owes you wonders. They materialize because you make them non-negotiable, weaving them into your reality thread by thread, choice by choice, until the fabric of your existence reflects the blueprint in your being. And if right now you're still tuning in, still stirred by this stirring, still simmering with that sacred discomfort, that itch for more, that hunger for higher, know this: your narrative isn't nearing its end. It's accelerating toward its apex. You're not lagging. You're launching, not flawed. You're forming, and the singular imperative is to press on, because the saga of your success is scripted in the steps you take today, and your tomorrow self is already applauding the ally you're becoming. Keep grinding, keep growing, keep grasping at greatness, because dreams deferred don't die. They detonate when ignited by action, and yours is primed, waiting for you to strike the match.